Just give me the word. Yeah. From the campus of O'Connor High School in Phoenix, Arizona, welcome to 2025 Arizona Youth Football League action as it's a warm one out here at O'Connor High School up off I-17 in North Phoenix. The 1:30 ball game will be followed by one at 3:30 and 5:30. The first game at 1:30 is the 10 and under O'Connor Junior Eagles with a 3-1 record against the Anthem Jaguars. They're 3-2. Anthem just up the road on I-17. We're off a Happy Valley Road here. Temperatures between 95 and 97. I'm Eric Anderson along with Jeff Lowry, and it's great football. Arizona Youth Football is a great place to play. So about set to get this thing, the coin toss at midfield coming out. The Anthem Jaguars, the 10 and under team, 3-2. They're coached by Brian Pribble. And O'Connor, the Junior Eagles, 10 and under, coached by Ryan Belke. They are 3-1. In the blue is O'Connor. They look a lot like the Colts. And in the red, that might be a little bit like the Texas Houstons. I'm not quite sure now, but going to be a warm one. And a lot of times the AstroTurf a little bit warmer. We'll go through the starters and whatnot after we find out who wins this coin toss. A little bit of a breeze out here, but it certainly has warmed up in the Phoenix metro area. And it's amazing how good these young kids have become. You know, I think back when I was 10 or whatever, nothing near the talent that these guys have, just watching them warm up. So, again, it's O'Connor, named after Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman Supreme Court judge of the United States. This high school named after her. It opened in 2003. So they're meeting at midfield, the coin toss. Tyson Young, number 18, 73, Ethan Smith, 66, Thompson Young, and, 44 is Phoenix Vital for the Blue squad. It couldn't quite hear who did win the toss, but it sounded like somebody deferred. Well, we'll wait and see who comes out and gets the ball first. So Anthem will get the ball first. It sounds like O'Connor won the toss and elected to defer. So Anthem will get the ball first. Again, they're 3-2 on the season. They're led by quarterback wearing number 8, Bobby Phillips, a couple majority running backs that they'll be getting the ball quite a bit. Major Roy, as well as Nate Chidester, goes by Nate Dogg. 41, Luke Davis. Some of the main guys on that offensive squad. So Lucas Coons scheduled to kick off. Let's make sure that who is doing the kicking and who's, it is going to be Anthem receiving. You know, you get so used to in the NFL and in college getting to hear who actually wins that toss. But Milo Burkett back deep here on the near side, and Easton Gale on the far side to return this kick of Lucas Coons, wearing number 14 for the O'Connor Junior Eagles. The 3:30 ball games, 11 and under Junior Eagles against Arizona Squad 48. The 5:30 ball game, 8th grade O'Connor Junior Eagles against OTB Cobras. That's an affiliate, I believe, a feeder school for Cactus down in Glendale. So game time temperature right around 95. Lucas Coons scheduled to do the kicking, wearing number 14. And back deep, Easton Gale on the far side, Milo Burkett on the near side to return this kick of Lucas Coons. He'll also do the punting for the O'Connor Junior Eagles, the 10 under squad. Hard to believe these guys are 10 and under. They're just amazing how good they are. No breeze to speak of, 95 degrees. Coons a onside kick to the far side, and it is recovered. Picking it up right after the 10-yard bounce was Nathan Chidester from Anthem. So it'll be great field position. At this level, you get a lot of onside kicks, a lot of short kicks. That would have gone about 10 yards, but Nate Dogg scooped that ball up for Anthem. It'll be great field position. First down and 10 for Anthem from midfield. They are 3-2 on the season, coached by Brian Pribble. Anthem in the red and the O'Connor Junior Eagles looking a lot like the Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Colts as I still call them. So Anthem, great field position. First down and 10 from midfield. Bobby Phillips is the quarterback on first down and 10. O'Connor showing blitz. A flag comes in. They quick toss the right side to Major Moore out of the backfield, and he picks up about, Major Roy picking up about 3 yards, but a penalty marker here on the near side. He was taken down on the far side by Sebastian Perez. So the penalty marker came in the vicinity of an offside, I would guess. But that's just a guess on my part. No working clock. 4 10-minute quarters, so we're going to be estimating that. The penalty will go against Anthem. And it appears there was maybe some movement, so it'll be first down and 15 for Anthem back in their own 45. They bring in a 3-2 record. Again, the quarterback, Bobby Phillips, wearing number 8, is the leader for that offense. First down and 10. Anthem from their own 45-yard line. Major Roy, who wears number 0, lines up to his right in the backfield. Handoff going from left to right this time is Milo Burkett, and he picks up about a yard over on the far side, taken down by Aiden Beltran. So that time Burkett with a little bit of an end around. In fact, they didn't give him any yardage at all. It was no gain on the play. So some good defense for O'Connor. It'll be second down and 15 for the Anthem Jaguars back at their own 45. But just a running clock, or not a running clock at this stage, but no operating clock. The scoreboard is not operating, so 4 10-minute quarters, we do the best we can to guesstimate. Phillips goes under center on second down and 15. They hand off to Roy going right. He is hit and dropped in the backfield for a loss of about a yard and a half. A big-time tackle that time by Tayton Tours wearing number 22. So Tours coming up and making a nice stop from his middle linebacker position. So far, O'Connor showing some very good defense. A loss of a yard on the play. It's third down and 16 for Anthem back in their own 44. They need the other 40 for a first down. Right around 8 minutes, I'm guessing, in the opening quarter. No score, the opening possession of the ball game. O'Connor won the toss. They deferred to Anthem. Bobby Phillips will go out of the shotgun, and Major Roy will line up to his left with 4 receivers. Third down and 16. Anthem from their own 44. Roy goes in motion out of the backfield. A quick toss here near side. It's complete to Burkett. Has some blockers. Gets up the left sideline, and he's going to be, depending on where he's marked out of bounds, I think they're going to mark him short of the first down. That's taken down by Maddox Whitbrode, but I think, a penalty marker came in here on the near side. It may be in the vicinity of holding. He needed the 40-yard line of O'Connor. May have gone out of bounds, but the penalty marker being down in the vicinity of blocking in the back possibly, and most likely that's going to come back. So it's a very well-designed play, but in that situation you get a lot of holding penalties. So 2 penalties on this opening drive against Anthem. He was going to be close to the first down marker, but 2 penalties on this opening drive has been costly for Anthem, and in fact, their only 2 running plays that they actually officially got from scrimmage were for losses. So O'Connor coming out playing very good defense and a couple of miscues by Anthem with some penalties on offense. It's going to be third down for Anthem all the way back at their own 34-yard line. So it is 3rd and 26. Anthem needs the other 40. What do you call on 3rd and 26? Phillips out of the shotgun. Man goes in motion. A quick toss here to the near side. Chidester makes the catch, and he's got running room up the near sideline, and he's going to be taken out just shy of the first down mark on a nice tackle by Moritomo. Kai Moritomo is a guy to keep your eye on. He's the quarterback also for O'Connor and the leading tackler, and another penalty marker on this play. He was only about 5 yards shy of the first down. Throwing that little screen pass was a nice move, but if that comes back, which I believe it's going to be the third penalty against Anthem just on this opening drive. So some costly penalties. 7 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. No score. Nate Dog Chidester made that catch out of the backfield. We're going to do our best to guess at the time. This is the opening possession of the ball game. As O'Connor won the toss, they deferred to the second half, and Anthem not off to a good start with a whole lot of penalties. In fact, it's going to be 3rd down and 36. Anthem back at their own 24-yard line. They need the opposite 40 for a first down. No score. 7 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Phillips goes out of the shotgun, a quick toss to the near side, and slipping a tackle is Lawson, and Lawson is up close to the 27-yard line. A nice tackle again by Moritomo. He's a guy to keep your eye on, number 12, also the quarterback for O'Connor. So a gain just of 3 on that little quick toss to the near side to Daniel Lawson. It's a good idea, but they went to the well one too many times. It's going to be 4th down and 33 for Anthem from their own 27-yard line. No score. Approaching 6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Checking in is Luke Davis, number 41, as well as bringing in the play Bobby Phillips. These guys, these quarterbacks, have to go back and forth between the sideline and the huddle to get the plays. There's no microphones or headphones in the ears, so it's there could be, but it'd be a tiring day. All that running, particularly in this heat, 95 degrees. It is 4th down and 33 for Anthem from their own 27-yard line. They're going to go for it. They hand off inside to Luke Davis, and he is taken down. And combining on that stop was Kawhi Nichols as well as Connor Lanford. So after some great defense by O'Connor and 3 costly penalties on Anthem, with about 6 minutes remaining in this opening quarter, no score. That, in fact, was a loss of 3 on the play. So some tremendous defense by O'Connor. Won the toss. They deferred to the second half. In fact, if you look at actual yardage, O'Connor negative yards so far and 3 costly penalties. It'll be 1st down and 10 for O'Connor at the 24-yard line of Anthem. Right around 6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. No score is Morimoto fumbled that ball. A fumbled exchange. They may claim that he's down. Luke Davis picked up the ball for Anthem. So Moritomo was unable to handle it was kind of a faulty exchange. The ball popped loose, and it looks like it's going to be Anthem ball as Luke Davis came out of there with it. So it's 1st down and 10 for Anthem back at their own 22-yard line. So a couple of costly plays. The 3 penalties for Anthem, and now a fumble on a fumbled exchange on the first play from scrimmage for O'Connor. Right around 5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. No score. Second possession for Anthem, 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. It's a bootleg going to the left by the quarterback, Phillips, and he is run down. A nice open field tackle by Maddox Whitbrode. That was dead in the water from the get-go. And if you did tally up, which I'm not tallying up all the tackles for losses, O'Connor's got quite a few. So right on that play, it was a loss of 12. It'll be 2nd down and 22, make it 2nd and 23 for O'Connor, or I should say Anthem, way back at their own 9-yard line. O'Connor won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and then actually great field position for Anthem to start the ball game at midfield, but they just backtracked all the way with 3 costly penalties. And they've got their second drive right now after recovering a fumble. 2nd down and 23, Anthem from their own 9-yard line. Bobby Phillips goes out of the shotgun. He looks to throw, fires to the far side, and a little bit too high. It's intended on that far side for Milo Burkett. You got to be careful over on that side. Thompson Young, number 66, was in the vicinity, and that's a pass that easily can get intercepted and brought back for a touchdown. So now another extremely long third down situation for Anthem. That seems to be what they've been in ever since the first play. It's going to be 3rd and 23. Anthem from their own 9-yard line. They need to get to their own 32 for a first down. Anthem comes in at 3-2, coached by Brian Pribble. O'Connor, 3-1, coached by Ryan Belke. So 3rd down and 23 for Anthem back at their own 9-yard line. 4 receivers set. Bobby Phillips goes out of the shotgun. Man goes in motion towards the far side as Burkett. Hands off to Burkett on the end around, going from left to right. He gets stopped, breaks a tackle, tries to get to the outside, and he's just mauled around the 10-yard line. Thompson Young leading the charge on that one. With an assist coming in was Jack Robertson. So some tremendous defense from O'Connor, and then Anthem not helping their own cause with the penalties. It'll be 4th down, and in fact, they gained a yard on that play. It'll be 4th down and 22. Anthem back at their own 10-yard line. They need their own 32 for a first down, so another long situation. Anthem does not generally punt the ball. O'Connor uses Lucas Coons as a punter, so at this level, it's the most difficult thing is to get, you can't stand very far back from the line of scrimmage because, you don't have somebody that can snap at 15 yards generally, and so punting, if you can get a good punter at this level, you've really got an ace up your sleeve. Right around 4 minutes remaining, I would guess. There's been a lot of running so far. Roughly 3.5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. There is no score. As O'Connor, again, they won the toss, deferred to Anthem. Anthem got it first, and they had the ball at midfield to start things off, but due to 3 penalties and some very good O'Connor defense, found themselves backing up in a big way. And then O'Connor had one play from scrimmage, and it was a fumbled exchange on the quarterback exchange with Kai Moritomo. So again, what do you do on 4th down and 22? In fact, Anthem did have a 4th and 36 at one time. We've got some applause, not quite sure what that's all about. 4th down and 22 for Anthem back at their own 9-yard line. Phillips will look to throw. Has some time. He's in trouble. He's in the end zone, and he fumbled the ball, but I believe he recovered his own fumble. It appeared it was recovered by Anthem. So did you happen to see who officially got it? It sure looked as though it was recovered. So Maddox Whitbrode recovered that fumble. Thank you, Jeff. It appeared to me at first that Major Roy recovered the fumble or Bobby Phillips, the backfield for Anthem, but indeed that was not the case. So it is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor on the fumble recovery in the end zone by Whitbrode, and now we've got a whistle. They're going to go for the 1-point conversion. If you choose to kick it at this level, it goes for 2, but it can be very difficult at 10 and under to kick, so they'll go for 1 point. So Maddox Whitbrode recovering that fumble. You knew it was a matter of time when the great swarming defense of O'Connor backed Anthem, continued to back them up into the end. So now the 1-point try will come from 7 yards. Kai Moritomo will go out of the shotgun, lining up to his right as Jack Smoleski. It is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor, and Moritomo sets, throws towards the end zone, and it's tipped away. It was intended for Maddox Whitbrode, and the extra point is no good. So some great defense for O'Connor produces the 6 points on the fumble recovery by Maddox Whitbrode. And we're right around, I would guess, about 2 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. So that defense for O'Connor very much swarming. And they get a fumble recovery in the end zone to make it 6-0. The extra point no good on the pass attempt. Maddox Whitbrode making that fumble recovery. When you're deep in your own territory, a lot of times bad things happen, and that's what happened to Anthem. Back deep for Anthem. Milo Burkett is back deep on the near side. Easton Gale on the far side to return this kick of Lucas Coons. 2 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. It is 6-0 O'Connor on the fumble recovery in the end zone by Whitbrode. Getting a few clouds out here now. We'll cool it down a little bit. Here's Coons' kick. Again, he boots it here to the near side, and it's off a member of Anthem, and it is recovered by Jags on the onside kick for O'Connor. So a great onside kick by Lucas Coons, and Molesky recovers it, and O'Connor back in business. They'll have the offense on the field again. So a nice onside kick by Lucas Coons. We off? Right. And welcome back, everybody. Eric Anderson along with Jeff Lowry out here at O'Connor High School up north of 101 off of I-17 in Happy Valley. School opened in 2003. The closing moments of the first quarter, it is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor on a fumble recovery in the end zone by Maddox Whitbrode. And thanks to a tremendous defense by O'Connor and a couple of penalties, I should say, against Anthem, produced that recovery. So it looks now possible that's going to be the end of the quarter because they are switching it. They don't really, the referees, bless their heart, they haven't been too real vocal with the calls. And if it was the end of the quarter, so it's the first play of the second quarter. It's 6-0 in favor of O'Connor. O'Connor in the blue, Anthem in the left. 1st and 10, O'Connor from midfield. Moritomo play action rolls to his right. Fires deep down the right side. Had a man wide open at the 20-yard line. Overshot him just a little bit to Zane Belke. I saw Moritomo warming up in pregame, and for a kid that's 10 and under, wow. An unbelievable arm for I am amazed every week when I do see, every couple weeks when I see these kids at these younger ages, how good they are, particularly some of these quarterbacks with their arm. Again, it's the start of the second quarter. It is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor. It's 10 and under action as they host the Anthem Jaguars. O'Connor 3-1 on the season. Anthem is 3-2. It's 2nd down and 10. O'Connor at midfield. Handoff to the tailback, going straight ahead this time, and busting his way ahead is Jack Smoleski. Taken down by Major Roy after a 5-yard pickup, and looks like we maybe got an injured member of the Anthem Jaguars getting up a little bit slow, or he hasn't quite gotten up yet. All right. All right.
They can watch the whole game later. We will have it, just not live.
It will be on, though, eventually, huh?
I'll upload it when I get back.
Will they be able to see it live for a little bit?
Yeah, they're watching it. We're live.
All right. How about now? I better be quiet.
Then this thing got
3rd down and 5 for O'Connor at the 45-yard line of Anthem. Moritomo gets a snap and handoff to Molesky going left, and he's gang tackled and very close to the first down around the 41-yard line. Not quite sure that he quite got there, but getting up from the bottom of that pile that time was Major Roy, who does a fine job at running back also. One thing I wanted to mention that we had a couple of technical issues with the broadcast early. It should be going live now, but later on you will be able to watch the entire ball game. Jeff will upload it onto YouTube, so you will be able to see the entire ball game later on. The score is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor in the early stages of the second quarter. 4th down and 1. They hand off to Molesky again inside, and he's going to have just enough for a first down. Major Roy again was in on that stop. He needed about a yard. Are they clapping because he got the first? You thought maybe there was a potential fumble on the play. So Molesky got just enough for the first down, moved the chains, 1st down and 10 for O'Connor at the 40-yard line of Anthem. It's about 7 minutes remaining before halftime here. It's 6-0 in favor of O'Connor after Maddox Whitbrode recovered a fumble in the end zone. It was fumbled by the quarterback, Bobby Phillips. 1st down and 10, a high snap. Quick toss to Molesky here on the left side. Has all sorts of running room. A 1st down and more down the near sideline. And stays on his feet, breaking a couple more tackles. And finally chased out of bounds here on the near side by Milo Burkett. That is going to be a pickup of an official yardage to the left side on that little screen pass of 30 yards. So Jax Molesky's been doing a whole lot of damage against Anthem here this afternoon. That was a pickup of 30 on the screen pass to the left side. In fact, going back to the scoring, the fumble in the end zone, fumbled by Bobby Phillips of Anthem, was recovered by Maddox Whitbrode. They went for a 1-point conversion from 7 yards out, not able to get it. That's why the score is 6-0. They got that in the opening quarter. Right now it's 6-0 in favor of O'Connor. About 6 minutes remaining before halftime. 1st down and goal. Moritomo out of the shotgun. He hands off inside, and pickup of maybe a yard at best by Maddox Whitbrode. Some good defense inside. Coming up again was Milo Burkett from his linebacker position, amongst others. A gain of a yard in the play by Maddox Whitbrode, who had the fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. The opening drive that Anthem had, they recovered an onside kick at midfield, and due to several penalties and some lost yardage, they were backed up all the way. And then O'Connor got the ball in the first play from scrimmage. They fumbled a fumble exchange. 2nd down and goal. Moritomo play action, goes to his left, throws on the run. It's complete. And down to the 1-yard line that time is Zane Belke. I'll tell you, very impressed with Kai Moritomo. A lot of poise out there. And they're officially going to mark that ball out at the 3-yard line. So it'll be a gain of 6 on the little quick toss to the near side to Zane Belke. 95 degrees, a high of 97 expected. 4-down territory, I'd imagine, is 3rd down and goal for O'Connor at the 3-yard line. Backs in the I formation. The tailback is Whitbrode. And a handoff inside to Whitbrode, and he can't get there. So a big stick on defense. I believe it was that left side of the line. Dutton Ramsey on the tackle that time did some stellar job. 4th down and goal for O'Connor at the 6-yard line of Anthem. Moritomo in trouble, throws towards the end zone. It's complete down low to Connor Langford, but he's not going to get into the end zone. So some great defense from Anthem, and leading the charge that time was R.J. Simmons. So as Jeff always said, the bend don't break offense, as O'Connor was down knocking on the door and they just couldn't put it in the end zone. Anthem coming up big. So Anthem's defense strikes back. We're about halfway through, maybe 4 minutes remaining in the first half. It is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor on the recovered fumble in the end zone by Maddox Whitbrode back midway through the opening quarter. The extra point was no good. It was fumbled in the end zone by Bobby Phillips, the quarterback from Anthem, as I thought at first it was going to be a safety, but he obviously let go of the ball, and Whitbrode recovered that for the touchdown for O'Connor. The games after this at 3:30, the 11 game, O'Connor Junior Eagles against Arizona Squad 48. 5:30, it's 8th grade and 14 under 8th grade O'Connor Junior Eagles against OTB Cobras, which I believe is a feeder program to the Cactus program in Glendale. They're going to spot the ball at the 3-yard line, so it was great for Anthem to stop O'Connor, but they've got some challenging field position and try to get their way out of the hole here. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Anthem from their own 3, but the big thing is that they did stop, if you're a fan of Anthem, they did stop O'Connor. O'Connor leading 6-0. Sure thought they were within a yard or two of getting into the end zone, but they couldn't quite do it. 1st and 10 for Anthem from their own 3-yard line. They trail it 6-0. 3 minutes remaining in this opening half. Bobby Phillips is the quarterback with 3 receivers. They hand off inside, and this is nothing but trouble, and I think this is going to be a safety. Kawhi Nichols combining with Tayton Tours, and they're not officially going to give him the safety. Handed off to Major Roy, and he wasn't able to get much, but he did get back to the 1-yard line. So great defense for O'Connor. Well, what you try to do, you try to run it out of there if you're able to do that. 2nd down and 12 for Anthem. Back of their own 1-yard line. Major Roy is the running back, and Phillips will go out of the shotgun from his own 1-yard line on 2nd down and 12. A quick toss here to the near side. It's complete, and it is going to be a safety. It was Nate Dogg who made that catch, and a good job on that tackle. The safety that time by Moritomo. Kai Moritomo, who's a tremendous quarterback and defensive player, makes it 8-0 in favor of O'Connor on the safety. Anthem is really not, other than the opening kickoff, they had it at midfield, but since that time, O'Connor has really smothered the offense for Anthem. They've had it deep in their own territory. That's not a fun thing to do, have it at your own 1, and that's been several times for Anthem. So Moritomo makes that tackle in the end zone. Are they changing they're changing the ruling now? Well, they're going to change the ruling on the safety. It will not count. Kind of surprised at that. I guess the referee's talking about it after the play. So the score remains 6-0 in favor of O'Connor. Right around 2 minutes remaining before halftime, and they're on the half-inch line. 3rd down and 13 for Anthem from their own, we'll call it 1-yard line. So Bobby Phillips will go out of the end zone coming from his own half-inch line. He lofts it to the far side, and it's up, and it is caught, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down. It was gang tackling on the play, but throwing it up a little bit for grabs and coming up making that catch on a beautiful play was Daniel Lawson. If you're O'Connor, it's got to make you sick to your stomach that you let them get out of that. That you had a safety, or at least they thought they had a safety, and then to have that called back saying that it was not a safety. I don't know what the referees saw then, but for Anthem to get the ball out of there from their own half-inch line, and that was for 24 yards to Lawson. So a great throw by Phillips, and Lawson really just going up and making a play. Closing moments of the first half, and Anthem can breathe a little bit more easier. 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line. They trail it 6-0. Phillips out of the shotgun. On the end around is Gale. He's taken down by Connor Lanford. So they did the little end around again. Check that it was Milo Burkett. Milo Burkett on that end around, and maybe, well, they end up losing 3 yards on that. The majority of the plays that O'Connor has had on defense have gone for losses against Anthem. They've really been very tough on defense, but that big 3rd down from the half-yard line for Anthem, getting them out of deep danger, was something else when Lawson went up and made that catch. So the closing moments of this first half, it is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor, and they just received a 3-yard loss on that end around to Burkett. It is 2nd down and 13 for Anthem from their own 21. Backs in the I formation. Roy is the fullback. Rolling to his left and being drilled that time, going down, was Phillips. Whitbrode as well as Beltran came in and made that tackle. Aiden Beltran as well as Whitbrode having a big afternoon. Again, I wanted to remind people we had some technical issues early on, but you will be able to watch the game in its entirety later on today. Jeff will be putting that up on YouTube, so you will be able to see it in its entirety. A loss of 10 on the play. And it's going to be 3rd down and 18 for Anthem back at their own 11-yard line again. Check that, I should say it's 3rd down and 23. Need to find my math skills. They need their own 34 for a 1st down. 3rd down and 23, Anthem back at their own 11. Penalty marker comes in, and this is stopped before it can get off the ground. O'Connor thought that they had a safety, but it was signaled by the referee that it was a safety early on, but then they reversed the call. But right now, just before halftime, it is 6-0 in favor of O'Connor after Maddox Whitbrode recovered a fumble by the quarterback of Anthem, Bobby Phillips, in the end zone to pick up the 6 points. The extra point no good as they tried to run it in. So Anthem continues to backtrack a little bit. They're back at their own 6-yard line now. It'll be 3rd down and 28. Anthem has been deep in their own territory the majority of the day. Phillips out of the shotgun. To his left is Roy on 3rd down and 28. Phillips throws again to the far side. It's complete up close to the 20-yard line. And coming up big time, that time for Anthem, making the catch was Milo Burkett. Not enough for the 1st down. They spotted him out at the 20. He needed the 34 for a 1st down. It was a pickup of 14. Well, they did it earlier, getting out of danger from their own half-yard line. Let's see if Phillips and Anthem can do it again. Closing moments here in the first half, 6-0 O'Connor. It'll be 4th down and 14 for Anthem from their own 20. We've got a game at 3:30. That's the 11 under O'Connor Junior Eagles, and then they're playing against the Arizona Squad 48. 4th and 14. Anthem from their own 20-yard line. They need their own 34-yard line. Phillips gets a low snap. In fact, I believe it bounced. Running for his life, Phillips cuts up, takes off, dodges to the outside, and he's wisely going to be run out of bounds around the 23-yard line that time by Kai Moritomo. He does it on defense and offense. So that's a name to remember, Kai Moritomo. And on downs, O'Connor will take over, first down and 10, right around their own 20 or the 23-yard line. And that is going to be halftime right there. You've got to give Anthem credit for holding their own. They've played with their backs against the wall the entire afternoon. And O'Connor was trying to post some extra, an additional touchdown and weren't able to get it. But recapping the scoring right now, it is 6-0 here at halftime in favor of O'Connor on a fumble recovery in the end zone by Maddox Whitbroad that was fumbled by the Anthem quarterback Bobby Phillips. The extra point was no good as they tried to run it in. So halftime it is 6-0 O'Connor. I'm Eric Anderson along with Jeff Lowry, back in about 10 minutes.
Well, this window seal, it needs to be up like this, and I don't have anything to prop this. They make these. They don't make them to shoot in here.
What's that? That's just a broom.
Well, I thought about breaking it.
So I guess it wasn't on, huh?
Bo Jackson when you need him.
You hurt yourself? Oh.
And then I didn't send it. You got to do it in 2 places now, and but I've got the whole game, so.
That's good. Well, I'll keep telling him that.
But the window seal's what's giving me the most trouble now.
Comes down just a little bit, huh?
There's got to be something to prop this thing up. I just have not been able to find it.
I wish you could, know how much time is left. It's just.
Oh, it's just when you think you've got it. This thing just like I had it level. I'm sick of doing this. But then I go to Brophy and I
sworn that was recovered by Anthem down there. But and then what's the deal with that safety?
Yeah, I heard the lady down there said it was a bad call.
I don't know. I mean, the ref called it safety. Yeah, it'd be nice to know the time. It's kind of nice not to have somebody else in here, though. Huh. You finish your sandwich?
Yeah, I got half.
Oh, you do?
God, I really wish there was something I could put there. Because when I come down here, I can't go up any higher.
Is it getting a decent? Does it look all right?
Well, yeah, but I can't tilt. So if they go up over on the far side,
Oh, yeah.
I can't tilt the camera.
Yeah.
That's as far as I can go.
Isn't Anthem just up the road from here?
It's not tall enough. Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, because it kicked off, and then I have a new process. You have to hit live on the,
And then it goes.
and then you got to go back into YouTube and
yeah.
say go live.
I know, 'cause my husband, he's got
But,
dental problems and he wasn't able to go, so I had it all set up and he calls it, nothing's on. I'm like, you know, it's first quarter.
I'm gonna post it again
Oh,
because I
cool.
made a recording of it.
Okay, yeah. I was like, my grandson made this awesome technical. I'm like, man, that was in the first quarter. But anyways, I'm glad, yeah, because everybody kind of was asking, so I didn't mean to, I
No,
hope I
it's
didn't interrupt
okay.
anything, but this way.
But I'm having trouble. I gotta prop this window seal. The window, I need it to go up another inch, but there's nothing to. I don't have anything tall enough, and
Oh, shoot.
like there's a broom in there, but I can't break it.
Where's the maintenance guy? There should be a guy like,
Yeah,
Clark
she's.
sitting around somewhere.
I'm not sure where she is.
She might be down, but normally a lot of times she's down at that end.
Yeah, they got 2 other events going on, so
Oh.
she's driving all over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Sorry.
These aren't built for cameras.
No.
All I need is like that much.
Yes.
This is like catching right 7:30, and then it'll take
9 o'clock.
maybe,
Okay.
and I'll put it on my website like if you were
Okay.
watching it today.
Okay. Great. Okay. Thanks.
What's that going to do? I think you figured something out, maybe. Oh, don't let him fall.
I know she's sitting right below. Hey, ma'am, can you move over? So I'm gonna try and prop it with these cans of water,
Oh, okay.
so I don't want it to fall on you.
Okay. All right, we'll do that.
I need
I'll
one
go.
more
I'll
can.
go this way.
I don't think that's gonna work. If I had one more whole can, I'd be all right.
You don't have another can? I have a can.
You do?
Think it'll work? Think it will? Is it? I don't think it's going to do it. Let's see. Ready?
No.
Yeah, there isn't a breeze. Before there was. They always who controls the temperature thing? Who controls the temperature gauge? They have it locked.
Uh-uh.
They don't. I don't. I think I'm gonna shut that door. Well, it does give us some air, actually. Yeah.
It's it's staying up.
Good. It is all the way up, then. It is staying.
Yeah, I just kind of jerked it.
Good.
Okay. Third quarter. And ready?
Yeah.
Stand by. Ready in 3.
And welcome back, everybody. Eric Anderson along with Jeff Lowry out here at O'Connor High School in North Phoenix, up off of I-17 and Happy Valley Road, north of 101. And got a defensive ball game here this afternoon. It's a 10 and under ball game with the O'Connor Junior Eagles coming in at 3-1 against the Anthem Jaguars. Anthem just up the road from here. Our score is 6-0 as we head to the third quarter. And the 6 was scored on a fumble that was recovered in the end zone by Maddox Whitbrode for O'Connor. So O'Connor leading by a score of 6-0 as we head to the third quarter, and Jasper Jimenez will kick off for Anthem as Anthem got the ball first to start the ball game as O'Connor kicked off back deep. Kai Moritomo and Maddox Whitbrode back deep to return this kick, and they were scheduled to return it. That was fielded over on the far side. They've changed a few of the numbers here and there. Check that. That was not a changed number. It was Thompson Young falling on that ball over on the far side. He probably wishes he did not do that. It's going to give O'Connor field position deep in their own territory. So pretty good kickoff by Jasper Jimenez. And O'Connor has really dominated the field position in the ball game. They've held Anthem way back deep in their own territory. Anthem has had a few issues with penalties, and it's been a defensive battle though overall. So 6-0 in favor of O'Connor there in the blue, and the red is Anthem. First down and 10 from their own 16-yard line. A handoff inside. This is going straight ahead is Molesky. Jax Molesky goes straight ahead and is tackled by Nathan Chidester. But it was a gain of 4 for O'Connor. O'Connor, for a moment, thought that they had a safety back deep in their own end zone where they tackled the running back Major Roy in the end zone for Anthem. It was called a safety by the referees, but after they thought about it a little bit, they took it away. So it did not count, but the field position has been dominated by O'Connor. Trying to add to a 6-0 lead here early stages of the third quarter. Second down and 6 from their own 20-yard line. Moritomo goes to his right this time, and down he goes. Some good defense by Major Roy again. Kai Moritomo has done it all in offense to the quarterback position and the defensive position. And that is a loss of 5 on the play. It'll bring up third down and 12 for O'Connor back of their own 15-yard line. They need approximately just to get over their own 25 for the first down. We have no working scoreboard here, so I just keep track of the time, or not the time. We're guessing on the time, but also with the score. Third down and 12, O'Connor from their own 15-yard line. Moritomo throws on the run on the far side, and just a little bit led the ball player, Jax Molesky, a little bit too far that time, and it goes incomplete. And you never know if a team is going to punt or not. Lucas Coons is scheduled that he would do the punting for O'Connor. But you just never know at the 10 and under level if they're actually going to kick or punt. It can be a difficult thing to do, even to get a good punter. But people always forget about the snap. I think that Lucas Coons is going to punt it away. Well, let's just wait and see. Maybe not now. 4th and 12 for O'Connor back of their own 15. They need their own 36 for the first down. Molesky, the running back, to the right. Moritomo, a quick toss to the left side. It is complete to Lucas Coons, who fights his way straight ahead. And he's up close to, he got close to the 20, and Noah Miller was in on the stop, and he goes down as he's injured on the play. That only picked up about 4 yards. Noah Miller is down for Anthem. O'Connor leading 6-0, about 3 minutes possibly into the third quarter. 4 10-minute quarters, so hopefully Noah Miller's all right for Anthem. But a summary of this ball game so far, it's really been a defensive battle. Of course, when you look at the score, 6-0 in favor of O'Connor, early stages of the third quarter, it's O'Connor has dominated the field position. They had a chance to score towards the end of the opening half, and they got it down to about the 3-yard line, and Anthem came up big on defense and turned them away. So it's been some great defense on both sides of the ball, and hopefully Noah Miller's all right as he's heading to the sideline for Anthem. It was a nice play call. It just didn't work that time for O'Connor. The little short pass to Molesky that was, in a sense, a screen. It's still showing third down. Well, in fact, that was 4th down. See, that's the thing without having the scoreboard and whatnot. So on downs, after the injury to Noah Miller, kind of forgot about that was 4th down. But on downs, Anthem takes over first down and 10 at the 18-yard line of O'Connor. Their best field position of the day. Phillips goes out of the shotgun. Man comes in motion towards the near side. On the end around, they move it from right to left this time. A penalty marker comes in. It was Easton Gale, and he was tackled down by Moritomo. as well as Belke and Robertson getting in on the action. And I believe that's going to be holding again against Anthem. And the penalties for Anthem, particularly the holding penalties, have been their Achilles heel today. It was a nice end around to Easton Gale, but that one's going to come back again. The opening series of the ball game, the opening kickoff was by Anthem, or I should say O'Connor, and it was an onside kick, and Anthem was able to recover it at midfield, but they had great field position on that opening possession, but due to 3 different penalties on that drive and a lot of plays that went for losses, they backtracked all the way down the field, in fact, facing one point of 4th and 36. So a few too many penalties for Anthem. They're trying to cut those down. That a 10-yard penalty. It'd be 1st down and 20 for Anthem at the 28-yard line of O'Connor. They got the ball on the possession change of on downs. It came over. It is 6-0 O'Connor midway through the third quarter. 1st and 20, Phillips out of the shotgun. Coming in motion this time is Gale again, and Phillips races to his right, and that ball was nearly picked off. Nearly picked off by Thompson Young, and it's headed on the far side for Burkett. And let's see if it was Burkett that went down. That ball was nearly intercepted by Thompson Young. Well, let's see. A replay on that, and let's double check to see who the... Well, in fact, it's Easton Gale, number 15, was the man that was injured, but he seemed to maybe just get the wind knocked out of him. He walked off okay after the incomplete pass, but very close to an interception that could have been brought back for a touchdown by Thompson Young of O'Connor. O'Connor leading 6-0 here, getting to the midway period of the third quarter. The only score of the ball game, it's been a defensive battle, was a fumble recovery in the end zone by O'Connor linebacker Maddox Whitbroad. The extra point, they went for one and were not able to get it. O'Connor has really dominated the field position, and that's what led to that fumble recovery in the end zone. And O'Connor nearly got a safety because of the domination of field position, but that was changed. They called it a safety, then they took it off the board. 2nd down and 20. Anthem at the 28-yard line of O'Connor. Phillips out of the shotgun. Chidester goes in motion towards the far side. Phillips being chased, running for his life to the near side and being chased down over here by Jack Robertson. Jack Robertson chased him down, and Phillips didn't have a prayer. So Roberts with a tremendous job on defense, or Robertson. Defense for O'Connor, and O'Connor losing yards again. They've had very few gains, plays that have gone for gains. One of the biggest plays that that Anthem had that went for positive yardage, they were on their own half-yard line, and they had almost a safety the play before that, and they threw a pass into a lot of traffic, and Lawson went up and made a great catch in traffic right around the 25-yard line to get them out of that hole. So there haven't been a whole lot of positive plays for Anthem. 1st down and 10, O'Connor from their own 30-yard line. There must have been a fumble on that last play, and the handoff going inside Whitbroad. We were blocked over here. We were not able to see. But I guess it was only 3rd down, but I guess that Phillips fumbled just before he got out of bounds. We couldn't see it. So after a fumble, we're guessing, it is 2nd down and 8 for O'Connor from their own 32-yard line after recovering the fumble by Bobby Phillips and the quarterback keeper on the left side, tackled by Jack Robertson. O'Connor trying to add to a 6-0 lead. 4 minutes approximately remaining in the third quarter, 2nd and 8. Handoff again. Inside is Whitbroad. Maddox has stood up. A penalty comes in a little bit late. I believe that is a marker. They're thinking it's going to be holding. Coming up from the bottom of that pile is Nathan Chidester, but looks like it's going to be holding against O'Connor. So they're going to move that ball back. Both teams with a couple of turnovers, a couple of fumbles. I'm guessing with all the running, the time goes pretty quick. It is 4 10-minute quarters, and I'm guessing it's right around the 3-minute mark, maybe remaining in the third quarter. It is 6-0 O'Connor in a defensive struggle against Anthem. It's 2nd down and 18 for O'Connor back at their own 22-yard line after the holding penalty. Play action, a quick toss here to the near side, and that goes incomplete. A little bit low that time to Thompson Young on a low throw from Kai Moritomo. Moritomo does it all on defense and offense. He's a guy to keep your eye on. 3rd down and 18 for O'Connor back from their own 22-yard line. The lone score in the ball game came in the first quarter on a fumble in the end zone, fumbled by the quarterback Bobby Phillips of Anthem, and recovered by Maddox Whitbrode of O'Connor, and extra point was no good. 3rd down and 18 for O'Connor back at their own 22. They need their own 40 for a first down. Moritomo, a quick toss over the left side. It is complete to Molesky with a little bit of running room over the 30 and taken down right around the 35-yard line. And instigating that tackle was Luke Davis. Not enough for a first down, a pickup of 13. They got the 35 but couldn't get to the 40-yard line, but it'll be 4th down, and I imagine they'd go for it. Next ball game at 3:30, it's 11 under action. O'Connor Junior Eagles against Arizona Squad 48. 5:30 then 8th grade junior O'Connor Junior Eagles against OTB Cobras, which I think is a feeder school to Cactus. 4th down and 5 for O'Connor from their own 35-yard line. Moritomo out of the shotgun, a handoff going left this time. And this is going to be a first down for Whitbrode. Picks up the first down and more around the left side. They're going to mark him out right around, well, let's see where they're going to mark him out. Close to midfield. Taken down by Bobby Phillips on the far side, in on defense. They didn't give him a whole lot. They gave him 9 yards on that. I thought maybe he got closer to midfield. But they're going to spot the ball, 1st down and 10, O'Connor from their own 44-yard line. They had a shot to get another touchdown in the second quarter. They got their way all the way down to the 3-yard line of Anthem, but Anthem's defense came up and stopped them. Moritomo out of the shotgun on 1st down and 10 for O'Connor. A high snap. They hand it off inside to Whitbrode. Now goes to his right, tries to get to the outside, picks up a nice block, and races out of bounds here close to, well, a late penalty coming in. Chidester in on the tackle, or shoving the ball carrier Maddox Whitbrode out of bounds. It'd be a gain of almost 10. And they're going to, well, the referee first motioned against Anthem, and now they're motioning against O'Connor. So the penalty will go, I believe it's probably on one of the blocks there. And so there's been a lot of penalties. That first off, it was a lot more penalties on Anthem early on, but now O'Connor's penalties, they're starting to add up a little bit. So a block in the back costs them close to a first down. It'll be 1st down and 12. O'Connor from their own 42-yard line. Getting to be the closing moments of the third quarter, O'Connor leading 6-0. Molesky is the tailback. Whitbrode is the fullback, and Moritomo will go under center with 2 receivers. 1st down and 12. Man goes in motion as Belke towards the far side. Moritomo rolls to his left. Lofts it down the middle of the field. It was intended for Molesky and into traffic. And that was a dangerous pass. But Moritomo's got a great arm and great touch there. And it just goes incomplete, setting up a 2nd down and 12. A defensive battle here between Anthem and O'Connor. On the season, O'Connor 3-1 and Anthem 3-2. Starting to cloud up or haze up a little bit out here, which is kind of good. Temperatures were expected to get to 97, but maybe that'll keep a little cooler. 2nd down and 12, O'Connor from their own 42-yard line. Moritomo out of the shotgun play action, rolls to his left, dumps it off to the left side to Whitbrode out of the backfield. He's down the left side and finally chased out of bounds by Burkett. And that ought to be enough for a 1st down. They're going to mark it out at the 37-yard line, a gain of 24. Nate Dogg was also in on the tackle. Nathan Chidester for Anthem. Not a whole lot of time remaining in the 3rd quarter, I would imagine, as we have no operating clock on the scoreboard, and it is 6-0 O'Connor. 1st down and 10. O'Connor at the 37-yard line of Anthem. Moritomo out of the shotgun. They hand off the running back inside. This is Molesky. He's taken down after about a 7-yard gain by Luke Davis, and a penalty marker comes into the pile. It could be a face mask. And getting up a little bit lame is Jax Molesky, who ran that ball. Appeared to be holding his arm. So Molesky picks up 7 yards. Hopefully he'll be all right as he comes off. And starting to wonder if this is the end of the 3rd quarter. The referees don't really make a real clear-cut signal with that. It's been a defensive battle here all day long. O'Connor's really dominated field position. Hopefully Molesky's all right, but holding his arm. Not a good sign. The only score of the ball game was O'Connor recovering a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown back in the 1st quarter. It was fumbled by the quarterback of Anthem, Bobby Phillips, and recovered by Maddox Whitbrode. For O'Connor, the extra point, they tried to run it in. It was no good. They were not able to get it. So Molesky comes off to the sideline. He picked up 7 on that carry. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for O'Connor at the 30-yard line of Anthem as they try to add to a 6-0 lead. Moritomo checks the sideline here for signals. Maddox Whitbrode will be the running back. Let's see if they keep it on the ground, and they do. Whitbrode inside and spun off a tackle for a moment, but Kalio Smith, number 84, making the initial hit. I don't think there was a gain on the, well, they may give him a couple. They're going to give him a yard on that carry. That's the end of the quarter. That is the end of the 3rd quarter with O'Connor leading it by a score of 6-0. They officially they're not stopping play yet. You've got 0. Well, the referee signaled that was into the 3rd quarter, but on 3rd down and 2, Moritomo races to his left, took on one defender, and finally raced out of bounds on the far side and picked up the 1st down. Again, it was Luke Davis coming in and making a hit. Also, Wyatt Warner in on the tackle on the far side, and just enough for a 1st down as Moritomo around the left side, and he picked up about 3. Enough for a 1st down, but one of the referees signaled the end of the third quarter, but, well, it's the way it goes. It's not, I guess, but we're nearing the end of the third quarter. 6-0 O'Connor. They've got a fresh set of downs, first down and 10 at the Anthem 25-yard line. Moritomo under center. Man comes in motion towards the near side. And a man in the backfield disrupts it for a second, and that ball thrown on the run. It was a little bit too high for Jack Robertson. So another ball player down. Kaleo Smith, number 84, I believe, for Anthem. So had a couple of injuries here and there. Thought it was nearing the end of that third quarter. It was Kaleo Smith going off, but he seems to be okay. Our score is 6-0 O'Connor just before the end of the third quarter. We've kind of been waiting a long time to see when it's actually going to be done. The referees made a signal it was the end of the third quarter, but obviously it wasn't. Now it is the end of the third quarter.
What changed?
I don't know. There was a signal. So still a total defensive battle here in the ball game. O'Connor hosting Anthem. It is 6-0 O'Connor at the end of the third quarter. There's been a few too many penalties on both sides. Not a ton, but I'm sure they'd like to clean that up. And great defensive battle. And O'Connor's really dominated the field position in a sense. The only score in the ball game came in the first quarter as Anthem quarterback Bobby Phillips fumbled in the end zone. It was recovered for a touchdown by Maddox Whitbrode for O'Connor, and then they went for a one-point conversion, which is if you run it in, and that was no good. The whole game, Jeff is going to be putting the whole game on YouTube later on tonight. There were some technical difficulties early on, and everything is taped and ready to go, but there was a few technical difficulties in that opening quarter. So he's going to get that up, and you people at home can watch the whole thing as many times as you want, and I know it's enjoyable for everybody, so we're having a good time doing it. So the 3:30 ball game. It is an 11 and under matchup between the O'Connor Junior Eagles. Arizona Squad 48 is the other team. Start of the fourth quarter, O'Connor trying to add to a 6-0 lead so they can sit a little bit more easy. It's second down and 10 at the 25-yard line of Anthem. Quick toss right side, and that is mishandled and dropped by Zane Belke. Well, he'll be thinking about that one tonight when he's in his dreams. He had a lot of running room if he'd caught that, but that's the way it goes. It was a good throw, but unable to handle it is Zane Belke. It'll be third down and 10. Obvious four-down territory for O'Connor. It is roughly 95 to 97 degrees out here at O'Connor High School. Opened in 2003. Third down and 10 for O'Connor at the 25-yard line of Anthem. They need to get down right around the 15-yard line. Moritomo slipping, dodging, and dancing a couple of defenders, and he picks up two, taken down by Major Roy. Some good coverage downfield, I'd imagine, created the reason that Moritomo took off. And it's a timeout for O'Connor as Moritomo picked up 3 yards on that play, and it's going to be fourth down and 7 when O'Connor gets back on the field. O'Connor's defense has really held Anthem's offense really in check. Anthem has been great on defense too, but they haven't been able to move the ball on offense quite as well as O'Connor has. The only score of the ball game to make it 6-0 was in the first quarter. Fumble recovery in the end zone by O'Connor's Maddox Whitbrode on a fumble by the quarterback Bobby Phillips. And Anthem has had some difficult field position. They've really been backed up to their half-yard line a couple of times and been able to get out of there a couple of times. But any time that you're, that deep in your own territory, there's always the possibility of, if you fumble, the other team's going to get a touchdown. And they were able to get out of it one time, did Anthem, but the one time Whitbroad recovered the fumble.
Eric, how much influence do you think Madden football has on the younger players?
I've never watched Madden football. I don't know. Maybe you're right. 4th down and 7, O'Connor at the 22-yard line of Anthem. Moritomo looks to throw, fires towards the end zone. A little bit too high that time. Milo Burkett getting a hand on that. It was intended for Jack Robertson. No matter what, I'll tell you, Moritomo throws a nice ball. It's hard to believe that these kids are 10 and under. It just amazes me. So on downs, Anthem will take over 1st down and 10 from their own 22. They trail it 6-0 here in the beginning of the 4th quarter. What is your opinion about the Madden foot? Did you play it much, or when did that first come out?
I think I was a kid.
Way back in the 70s? No. John didn't start broadcasting until mid-80s. That's when you were just a baby. So Anthem trailing 6-0 here in the early stages of the 4th quarter. Take over on downs, 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. Bobby Phillips out of the shotgun. Major Roy is the running back with 4 receivers. Now he splits out. Phillips under pressure, heaves it left side, and it's kind of a little bit of a wobbly duck going up, and it is picked off by O'Connor and Zane Belke. Phillips had thrown 1 or 2 of those up earlier, and he got lucky on one where Lawson went up and made a play, but that time going up and making the play was Zane Belke for O'Connor. And if you're O'Connor having the good field position at the 36, I think you'd like to go down and put Anthem away, but credit Anthem's defense. O'Connor got down to the 3-yard line at one time, and Anthem turned him away. So Anthem's got a tough defense. It's been a defensive battle here this afternoon. We're about 7 minutes to go in the ball game. 6-0 O'Connor. 1st down and 10. They hand off inside Whitbroad. Bounces it to his right and then taken down around the 31-yard line by Major Roy after a gain of about 6. So Maddox Whitbroad is the main running back now. Not sure. I believe that Jax Molesky, the other running back for O'Connor, he's still probably on the sideline. Not 100% sure, but came out holding his arm a while ago. So it may just be Whitbroad to carry the load the rest of the way. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 for O'Connor at the 31-yard line of Anthem. Moritomo hands off inside. Whitbroad going left this time, and he's hit and dropped by Luke Davis. I had to make sure I found out who number 41 was for Anthem. That is Luke Davis, because they sent him a XXX adult uniform. So they had to, they couldn't, it was way, way too big. So he had to get a jersey, and rather than wearing 59, he's wearing 41. So glad I got his number, because he's doing a lot of good work on defense and offense today. 3rd down and 4 for O'Connor at the 30-yard line of Anthem. O'Connor leading 6-0, about 6 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Kai Moritomo looking around, backs in the I formation. Moritomo checks the near sideline. They need the 26 for a 1st down. Checking in at the last second is Jackson Shakespeare. And a handoff inside, and it's a 1st down and more for Maddox Whitbroad, I should say, excuse me. And a gain of 7. Inside to help out on the stop, Jasper Jimenez, amongst others. Noah Miller, 78. 84, Kaleo Smith. Dalton Ramsey's the left defensive end for Anthem. So a gain on the play of about 6. Whitbrod is carrying the load. It's first down and 10 for O'Connor at the 24-yard line. Handoff to Whitbrod again, going left on the delay. Being chased towards the out-of-bounds area, and he's thrown down around the 15-yard line. Some good defense by Anthem. And that player was listed as 88. Well, let me check that. 89 is Wyatt Warner.
88.
Well, it was 88. Well, we had some of those number changes, when they ordered the ones and some came in triple X. They had to get some other numbers. That was a gain of 9 for Whitbrod. It'll be second down and 1 for O'Connor at the 15-yard line of Anthem. O'Connor leading 6-0. They're going to try to put Anthem away, and I think the man in motion coming across from left to right, which Zane Belke, I believe, was heading towards the line of scrimmage a little bit too early. Oh, the running back jumped also. So Whitbrod maybe jumped a little bit. But if you're O'Connor, you'd like to get into the end zone here and kind of put Anthem away. Anthem's still, within striking range at 6-0 here. I'd say around 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. Second down and 7. O'Connor with the ball, play action. Moritomo being chased, races to his right. Tries to get to the outside, and a tremendous open field tackle on that far side. Are they thinking there was a face mask of some sort? Daniel Lawson with the tackle on the far side of Moritomo. And we've got 2 members of Anthem that has gone down. Now, 88, that was one of the numbers we didn't have on the roster. Fortunately, I went down and I got Luke Davis's number because I didn't recognize. Well, now Wyatt Warner getting up 89. So maybe it was Wyatt all along. And Noah Miller goes down for the second time. So maybe we had Wyatt Warner all along doing, regardless, he's doing a great job on that defensive line for Anthem. Any thoughts on how much time is left? 6 minutes remaining here, and I'm guessing 3 or 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. Third down and 9 for O'Connor at the 22-yard line of Anthem. They need the 14 for a first down. Whitbrod is the tailback lined up to the left of Moritomo. And now a timeout is called by O'Connor. Yeah, I guess I have not seen Jax Molesky, who went down with that arm injury. I'm not sure if he's on the bench, but we haven't seen him since he went down with the bad arm. So that takes away one of the top running backs. Oh, boy. So they did it. I hope he didn't break his arm. It certainly could have been. So Jax Molesky, they took him to urgent care. His arm was hurting him badly. So hopefully he'll be okay. So O'Connor is down a running back. The only score of the ball game was a defensive score by O'Connor back in the first quarter as Maddox Whitbrod recovered a fumble in the end zone for O'Connor. Third down and 9. O'Connor with the ball at the 22-yard line. Handoff going left with a little bit of a hole is Whitbrod, and he's taken down by Luke Davis again down the 15-yard line. So Maddox Whitbrod has been the main ball carrier since Molesky went out. They marked the ball just inside the 15. If anything, O'Connor's taken a lot of time off the clock. They lead it 6-0, and we're in the later stages of the ball game. Of course, we don't have a scoreboard or no operating clock. Well, in fact, that was just enough for the first down. So just enough for a first down. Maddox Whitbrod picks it up. It'll be first down and 10, 14-yard line for O'Connor. Whitbrod again. This time he's hit in the backfield and dropped by Major Roy. No gain on that play, but I mentioned it continues to run that clock down. And I'll tell you, Anthem's offense has had a very, very difficult time against the defense of O'Connor Day. They have had maybe only one pass that any play that gained much yardage. So it's the defense, both defenses have been fantastic, but the O'Connor defense really has dominated the offense. The offense of O'Connor. 2nd down and 10. Morimoto out of the shotgun. A quick toss here to the near side. Complete to Lucas Coons. Heads up field, and he is going to be, they're going to say he went out of bounds about the 1 yard line. Chased out by Burkett. Lucas Coons took the nice pass to the near side from Moritomo and just about got in, but just a hair short. So if he picked up the 1st down, it was a gain of 13, and it'll be 1st down and goal for O'Connor at the 1 yard line of Anthem. Robertson is the fullback. Whitbrod is the tailback on 1st down and goal. Handoff to Whitbrod inside, and he waltzes in for the touchdown. 2nd touchdown of the ball game for Maddox Whitbrod. His other one was on a recovered fumble in the end zone, and it's now 12-0 in favor of O'Connor. So a 1 yard run by Maddox Whitbrod. And that was all set up by the interception by Zane Belke. So Whitbrod gets his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And let's see, they will go for 1 point here as Moritomo out of the shotgun, and to his left is Whitbrod. See if they try to run or pass for this 1 point conversion. The one that they tried back in the 1st quarter, they weren't able to get it. Handoff to Whitbrod inside. He goes to his right and is not going to be able to get in. Some tough tackling on the far side. Dalton Ramsey leading that charge. So the extra point is failed again, but it's a very big touchdown for O'Connor. Gives him some breathing room at 12-0 over Anthem with very little time remaining in the ball game. Again, there's no scoreboard operator, no clock. So O'Connor's got to feel pretty good about themselves. The defense of O'Connor has really dominated the offense of Anthem. But both defenses have been very, very good. But O'Connor's has really dominated Anthem pretty tough this afternoon. They've had tough field position quite a bit. Easton Gale back here on the near side, and on the far side is Milo Burkett to return this kick of Lucas Coons. So if you're an O'Connor fan, you got to be feeling a little bit more comfortable with the 12-0 lead here in the later stage of the ball game. All the kicks so far by Coons have been pretty much onside kicks for the most part, not kicking them deep. So Coons will kick off for O'Connor. They lead at 12-0. This one is a knuckleball down deep from the 26-yard line. This is Easton Gale. Cuts it up here on the near side. He returns it 10 yards to the 36-yard line, taken down by Jack Robertson. So O'Connor feeling pretty comfortable, I'd imagine, at this point. Leading 12-0. Later stages of the ball game, of course, mention again, we don't have the scoreboard or a running clock that we can watch. Don't worry that we had some technical issues in the 1st quarter, but Jeff will have all the game. He's got everything on tape, and it will go up on YouTube later tonight. So we just had a little bit of difficulty early on, but he's got everything on tape, and he'll be posting it later on YouTube. Is that correct? It'll be up on YouTube?
No, I lied.
You lied?
Yes.
But it is YouTube, right?
It is YouTube.
But
Same,
but
and go to the
APN video web.
You're at now,
APN video website, of course.
and then we'll have your audio and all the visuals.
Getting close to the end of the ball game here, as it's 12-0 in favor of O'Connor. Anthem takes over first down and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Bobby Phillips out of the shotgun. A timeout is called. Who called it? Was it? So Anthem calling the timeout. Again, the 3:30 ball game is 11 and under O'Connor Junior Eagles against Arizona Squad 48. Another 11 and under squad. And then 5:30, the 8th grade O'Connor Junior Eagles against the OTB Cobras, which I believe is a feeder school, probably of Cactus High School down in Glendale. They're the Cactus Cobras. So really a defensive battle here this afternoon, and right now the final closing moments, it's 12-0 in favor of O'Connor. Both touchdowns scored by Maddox Whitbrode. He recovered a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown and then ran a 1-yard carry as a running back into the end zone. So Whitbrode has got a pair of touchdowns this afternoon. So first down and 10 for Anthem from their own 35-yard line. Major Roy lines up to the left with 4 receivers. Phillips awaits a snap. Roy goes in motion. He tosses it into traffic again, and that is caught in traffic by Daniel Lawson, who went up and made a play. An 18-yard pickup, and some of the throws from Bobby Phillips, he's lofted him up there, and just having his receivers go out and make a play. That's the second one that Lawson has done this afternoon. A great job by Lawson after a nice throw by Phillips. Earlier, they got out of danger at their own half-yard line, throwing one up to Lawson. It is 12-0 O'Connor here in the closing moments of the ball game. First down and 10. Anthem at the 47-yard line of O'Connor. They've had some difficulty going into the teeth of this O'Connor defense. Phillips out of the shotgun. Quick toss left side. Slipping one tackle and racing forward and taking on a couple defenders is Lawson again. So Lawson picking up about 4 on the play. Well, got to do what they can. Tayton Tours was part of the group on the tackle. A gain of 5 on that play to Lawson on the far side. Timeout is called by Anthem. It'll be second down and 5 for Anthem at the O'Connor 42-yard line. O'Connor leading 12-0. Pair of touchdowns by Maddox Whitbrode. And he recovered a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown that was fumbled by Phillips, the quarterback of Anthem. And then he got a 1-yard touchdown run as he was the running back on that play. Getting hot again out here. It's supposed to be 97. 3:07. The next game starts at 3:30, but that could be put back just a little bit. Been a lot more injuries here in the second half and kind of a slowage of play. Play has slowed down quite a bit. 12-0 O'Connor here in the later stages of the ball game as Anthem trying to pull something out somehow. But they're going against a very, very good defense in O'Connor. Second down and 5, ball at the 42-yard line of O'Connor. Phillips out of the shotgun, Roy to his right in the backfield. Man goes in motion. Towards the far side is Gale. Phillips rolls to his right, throws with a man in his face. That's up for grabs, and it's intercepted at the 37-yard line. It's picked off by Lucas Coons, and he's got a couple of blockers. Let's see if he can bring it all the way back. But he's going to run into a couple of members of the ball club for the Anthem as Phillips tackled him. It was right around a 40-yard return. He picked it off here on the near side at the 37-yard line and brought it back to about the 25. And again, we've got some more injured players. So depending on where they're going to spot that ball, if we've got much more time left in this game, be about a 38-yard return by Robertson. The injured ball player, Milo Burkett, or actually, I correct myself. It was Lucas Coons on that on the interception. Lucas Coons on the interception. Milo Burkett went off with an injury. It is 12-0 in favor of O'Connor. Closing moments of this ball game, and that interception by Coons might put the wrap on it here. Not getting much mention of how much the clock is running. Yeah, that's an issue. And I guess we've had a few very tight ball games before, and fortunately, one time the clock, they were operating it, and it looks like that may be the end of the game. Well, they don't really signal very good. So O'Connor wins this ball game over Anthem by a score of 12-0. O'Connor, the Junior Eagles, moved to 4-1, and the Anthem Jaguars moved to 3-3. The next ball game is the 3:30 game, the 11 and under O'Connor Junior Eagles versus the Arizona Squad 48. Again, the final score 12-0 O'Connor over Anthem. I'm Eric Anderson for Jeff Lowry. Back momentarily.
Tempted to go down there and tell them, you guys, could you please, if it's the end of the game, if you're going to put the signal, hold it for a few seconds so we can see. It's just freaking agitating. God, you're a referee.
Going to bother you being in there?
Oh.
The snaps on the live feed? The sound of the camera.
Oh. I'm not sure. I'm paunchy right now.
Oh, okay.
Ask me that again.
I take pictures for the next team, but I want to make sure the sound of the camera is not going to interfere with you.
Are you going to be right here?
I was going to be over in that corner.
Oh, inside?
Yeah.
You're with the O'Connor 11 and under?
Yeah.
Could I get, some pronunciations?
Yeah. I can try to help you.
And then you know who kind of plays? not Weiss. I guess it's not Weiss, right?
Hey, Whitney,
Is it W-I?
how do you pronounce Brock's last name? Is it Weiss?
Wise?
Is it
Like,
Weiss?
like you're wise?
Okay.
Weiss. Sutkovic, is that?
Do you know how to pronounce Ari's last name?
I'd have to see it.
It's like Sutkovic. The top one.
No.
Well,
All right.
no.
And
No.
Is that
I can't see
Jamo
that far.
Courage?
Is it Jamo or James? Jamo Courage? I don't know.
Maybe I should go down
Yeah.
to the coach.
And
Yeah,
this
might
right
be
here,
a good idea.
It's Shope.
That's what I figured.
Okay.
Um,
The last announcer really butchered his
How do
name.
you screw up Schopp? everybody
and
in
they
there-
called him Connor too.
Everybody with a brain.
Remember at the game? It was
Yeah,
Connor.
at the championship.
Yeah,
I'm
Sarah
like,
was so
my
pissed.
kid's not on the field.
Is that Joseph?
Joseph, yeah.
I'll go down.
Yeah, I'd go down.
I gotta get the other team anyways because we didn't get any of them. How does somebody screw up Schopp? They gotta be a moron.
And they called him Connor instead of Cooper.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're just agitated.
It wasn't you guys. It was at the championship.
No,
game.
we're just agitated because I don't know.
I'm agitated.
But, no, I just want to make sure that's
Oh,
not
thank
going to
you.
bother you.
He's the one in charge.
But if not, I'll go right down here. Yep. You're filming? Do you know the pronunciation of some of the names, Coach?
Some of them I can try to help you out.
Do you know how to say Ari's last name? Ari's?
No. We can ask his dad.
Do you know who's quarterback for you guys?
Ari.
Ari.
Oh, he is.
And then Cooper
Yeah,
shows
so
back up.
his name might get a lot. Might get a lot.
Where's the? I don't need. Ryder, is it Castellano?
Yeah, Castellano, right?
And then there's one that I had that I think
Girasat,
yeah, is that what it is?
number 55.
Yeah.
Joseph Girasat, he's not here, but
Oh,
if he does show up and he hasn't seen 55, yeah, Girasat.
all right. That real long Greek name, Bobby
Bobby,
Zaharid.
Zaharides.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Zaharides. He's not upset if you just refer to him as Bobby Z. But Bobby Zaharides.
These. Jamo, is that Courage? Huh?
Jameson, Jamo,
Yeah.
19.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Jameson.
Jamo, he goes Courage.
Yeah, Courage. Yeah.
How about Mickey, 23? Is it Ponce?
Fonzie.
Ponce? Hershey? Rockwell?
Hirsch.
It's just Hirsch?
Yeah, I believe so.
The I is not pronounced.
I don't think so.
Hirsch. How about TJ Jr.? Puchta?
Puchta. Puchta.
Joey Dadal?
Yeah, Dadal.
Dadal.
Dadal, yeah.
How about Emmanuel Peoples? Is that, how's that?
Amon Yell.
Amon.
I don't think he's here today.
Right. And then that Juraset was the one.
Number 55, Girasat.
Ponce, Castellano. So Zaharides.
Zaharides, number 7.
Yeah. So Sutkovic is the quarterback.
Yeah, Ari Sutkovic.
Is it? That's a good pronunciation for
I
them.
think so. Yeah.
Who are the running backs and stuff?
Makai Alvarado.
Let's see. All right, he's 6. Who else would get it?
Makai, Bradley.
Bradley. Right?
Yeah, Bradley. Mickey Ponce.
Mickey Ponce. So it is Ponce. It's not Ponce here. It's Ponce.
Yeah, Ponce.
23. How about receivers? Anybody?
Bobby Zaharides is one of
Jay.
Yeah, you got Jay.
He's a receiver too.
He's a receiver. Yep. Brock Weiss. He's a receiver.
Yeah, Weiss. So they'll all get in there. Who's the best on defense for you guys? Get a lot of tackles.
We got a bunch of studs, but our defensive ends, TJ Puchta,
Oh yeah.
Avery Ware. One of our lead tackles, Bradley Ware.
All right, I'll just stick with that. Who kicks and does the returns?
Kicker is Logan Tenberg.
Oh yeah, I see him, Tim. And then who kicks and does the returns?
Sometimes you'll have Alvarado, Makai Alvarado back
Oh yeah,
there.
all right.
Sometimes you'll have Jason Davis back there.
So Jay.
37.
All right. Amanyel is how that's pronounced.
Yeah,
But you're not sure if he's here.
No, he's not here. No,
Sutkovic is, I'm just, unless I talk to the kid himself or his dad, you guys are in blue. I'll ask him.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
No, I gotta go down because that other bunch didn't give me any. Well, they put all the names without any numbers.
Oh, no numbers. Oh, yeah.
So if Sutkovic is the main guy, yeah. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, sir. You're very welcome.
Zaharides.
Yeah, it's a heritage. You got it. Yeah, they got an announcer they're gonna call it. Okay, there we go. I just don't know. They might not. You might want to move the fan because I don't know if they want the fan on for him calling. He may want to turn it off. Or we can put it down here. So if he does, then that's fine. Let's do this. Here. Go ahead, drop that. Put it so it's not on top of it. Put it down
When
here.
he sits right there, like that.
He's using a mic, so it shouldn't pick this up.
Sorry, no.
There and. Alright. It's on AC power. So you ain't gotta worry about you want to tilt that down or you want to tip it down some? Tip the monitor down. Is that fan on going to mess up his audio?
Oh,
We turned the air on to cool it down in here for you guys.
yeah.
It should, but if we need to turn it off, we can. Did that window creep on you?
Yeah, because it's blocking me right there.
Ah, you can't. Oh, I see what you mean.
So I'm going to.
See if you can get it a little higher. Thank you, brother.
Well, I saw the shade and I'm like, poor Cricket freezing up. Yeah, now the sun's setting.
I wouldn't sit there if I were you. Yeah, please, because I almost dropped this on you. About ready to leave. Just sick of this setup here. I'm ready to quit. I really am. This goddamn window.